I got Jerry here from Red Zone Threat Management. We just finished up a day of knife defense, and I wanted his opinion on knife disarms. It's not something I see a lot out there on the internet. If I do see them, they're either the very far-fetched Kali Krav style, or they're what I consider the accidental disarms, meaning I slammed your hand onto the ground, I'm bashing your face, I'm doing damage, and I'm anticipating that you're going to let go rather than actually focusing on a disarm. He touched upon some disarms today, so I'm going to let him take over and kind of just explain your process on
No, yeah, it's interesting because in when I first started training in weapons work, everything was done from this kind of weird mid-rangey stuff, and we'd get in here and then people would do strips and whatnot. But it's this weird false range that doesn't actually happen in an assault where somebody's putting pressure on me, right? And I'm just going to get hacked to pieces trying to catch this out of the air to disarm it. So when people say we shouldn't be doing disarms, from what they're describing as a disarm, as a credible disarm, what you see a lot in traditional martial arts, I would agree. Don't go for those because I don't have control of the attacker's body. Right. Yeah. So if I don't have a control of you, anything I try and do at the end of this lever is just going to cause me problems. And every time that comes free, I'm going to have to regain control of it, and I may eat it a few times trying to do that. So I have to get positional dominance first. But before we even get into that, I got to talk about how to get that weapon out of play and how we're going to affect it. Because essentially I'm going to shut down the position, and I am going to grab the blade. And people say you can't because it'll just cut your fingers off. It's like a lightsaber. But the fact of the matter is you absolutely can, but you got to grab it safely. And if we back up a half step, even if you grabbed it incorrectly and you did the dumbest thing, you just wrapped it up here because you're panicking, you're trying not to get stabbed, and you used your hand like a sheath for the blade, which I'm not recommending. The person is trying to murder you with a knife.
I'll take a cut hand over and stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'd rather we didn't do that. But if you did shut the person down and in your panic you grabbed it incorrectly, you may just cut your hand off. But one of the reasons that we get damage from it isn't so much the grip on the blade itself, it's that. Right? So if you're holding it and I grab it and you pull that clear, yeah, that's very damaging. But if I've already shut down your ability to move that around freely, there's not a lot of yanking the blade out. So now we're really mitigating whatever damage, assuming I grabbed it incorrectly, happens.
Right.
But if I'm grabbing it as I should, I want to use my palm and the flat of the blade right here. And I'm going to pressure grip that with the flats of my fingers. So I'm not gripping over, in this case with the Disciple where the edge is here. It wouldn't really matter whether it was edge up edge down or edge up. Point is that I'm not wrapping it up and making it in contact. I'm actually pressure gripping it right here. It's hard to see it here, but there's daylight in this spot right here between the top of my hand and where I'm making my grip. So it's not really an issue as far as being on the cutting surface. So I will grab it right here, and as long as he can't move freely, it won't be an issue. So as an example, if I was to rip him down in a 2-on-1, if I could have you feet towards the wall facing that way, on belly down, good. So I ripped him down to the ground. This is one of the positions that we ended up in. Obviously he can free swing it now, but the position we land in, I've got his shoulder pinned, and I've got heavy pressure on here. So when he tries to move that around, that's about the extent of the movement he can do. So when I grab here, I want to turn his hand over, and I'm pulling up towards me. So I'm going where the hand naturally opens and ripping it up to me. The reason I can do that again is because I've isolated this and kept him belly down. Right? If I make a mistake in my position and I put my weight on him while I'm trying to do this, he can move now and I've got a problem. If I pull up and he puts that hand down on the ground while I'm trying to do it, again, I've got a problem. So how I isolate the position is good. If you do any jiu-jitsu or any kind of submission grappling, you understand position comes first and then I go for submission. There's no ishin word when it comes to disarm, but make it rhyme in your head. So here's my position. I turn the grip over and I pull it up and towards me. Same idea, put this in your hand, on your side. If we take him down from a side body lock or something similar, and I've got the arm isolated, I'm backstopping his body so he can't spin. My chest is checking him as well. And now, with that same grip we had on the blade, I can now use both hands and push-pull this grip. So my grip is here. It doesn't really matter whether I go palm up or palm down. And it doesn't matter whether it's in his bottom hand or top hand. Right? I'm still grabbing here, and I'm going to push-pull in order to get the weapon out of play. But what it does is it gives us an understanding that until I've gotten this weapon out of play, the fight is still on, and I'm still at a disadvantage. I'm dealing with an arm attacker who's already shown he wants to kill me.
Right.
right? So if I don't train all the way to removing that threat, then I technically haven't finished the game yet, right? I got myself into just enough of a position to get myself stuck and still in trouble. Right. So that's why I try to get disarms built into the entire process that we do. So even one day's training, everything goes through till the knife's out of play.
Right. Now you could still apply strikes in those situations.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Right.
So using that same example, if I have this isolated and I'm struggling with this grip and I can get weight, I can throw strikes in here. And there are correct ways to throw strikes, because if I lift up to start punching, you're going to move. So I don't sacrifice
Position.
my control, and my pressure in order to deliver strikes. So just like in jiu-jitsu grappling, if we integrate strikes, we still have to pay attention to controlling position, and we don't want to lose our control in order to gain some small advantage with the strikes.
Now what happens if I'm in the process of holding it, because I know you touched upon this a little bit, and then all of a sudden the knife disappears?
Oh, they roll belly down.
Roll belly down or anything.
Yeah,
Are you still...
I think I'm glad you brought that up. I want to remember the context that we're training for, right? Combat athletes tend to run into this more because there's areas where they're very skilled and they already have their routes that they go to, and when the person goes belly down and they're thinking turtle, back take, etc.
Right.
Or how to break the person down, right? I was trying to get away from this and control it the first place. If you bury it and hide it from me so I can't disarm it, I don't need to go after it. I can post on you and start firing in some decent strikes. And if I start moving and you don't like that, this pops back out, we go back to work on it.
Okay.
Right? But my goal is to get that weapon out of play. So whether it's with strikes or forcibly removing it from you, I will. I don't tend to favor joint locks because people's reaction is unreliable to the joint locks. Even if you break an arm, same thing with shoulders. And as I start to isolate these things, I can lose control of my position, and we don't really need it. When I teach these workshops, the whole goal is to use a reductionist strategy, throw out anything that can't be done relatively quickly by people who don't have a specialty in grappling, right? It's one thing to teach a room full of jiu-jitsu practitioners how to adjust their game for dealing with a weapon. It's another thing to take people who just want to learn how to protect themselves.
Just how to survive.
Yeah, right? So we can't go in assuming that they're going to have a built-in skill set they can work with.
Right.
And the nice part is, if whatever we're doing works for those people, it works even better if you have a background. Right. So why not just do what they do?
Now I know we talked about grabbing the blade.
Yes.
If it's a blade where I got the back end sticking out and you got the blade sticking out, are you still primarily focused on grabbing here, or would you utilize the butt?
I don't have a problem with that. As long as there's enough of it that I can get an anchor point, then sure. As long as I'm prying against the fingers.
If it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually you'll figure that out as you start to look for purchase, right?
Right.
Because you've got the limb isolated anyway, you can see it.
Right. So there you have it. If you have an opportunity to train with Jerry, if he's in your area, highly recommend him. Great instructor. He'll be at the Combative Summit later on this year. So if you're interested in training, hit that up and go train. Stay safe.